This is beginning of a new series we're doing throughout the Christmas season, and this is apparently the most wonderful time of the year. How many of you think, yep, most wonderful time of the year? Hands up. Okay, so we're going to convert the rest of you. I'm going to just list off a few things that are wonderful about Christmas, and by the end, you're going to be like, and don't sing. Don't do it. Don't join the song unless Shauna's leading it or someone else that can sing, because we don't want to wreck it for the rest of everybody. But okay, so first of all, how many of you enjoy Christmas lights? We got a few here for you to get you kind of in the mood. Christmas lights are beautiful. They're everywhere. How many of you have not put up your Christmas lights yet? Like you should. Oh, yeah, you're screwed. That's it. Every time you drive up now to your place, you'd be like, yep, should have put it up in June. June would have been safe, except maybe not. Calgary's kind of bizarre. How about gingerbread like lattes? Anybody do the gingerbread thing? Syrup cream, that kind of thing. That's my drink, so every time it comes out, I'm like, yay! And then I have it, through the Christmas season, so that's my thing. What about the Christmas carols, right? Everywhere you go now, Christmas carols playing over and over and over and over and over. By the end, like, I'm one of these people that, like, Shauna and I negotiate every single year. Shauna's my lovely wife, right? And every year, I say it's a negotiation, but the Christmas season gets longer every year. It's the negotiation is I cave a few days every single year. That's how it goes. Men or males today, I just want to serve notice that this is the fear of God season because it's Christmas gift buying season. And so I don't know whether you're a husband, you're a boyfriend, you're just, you got a sister to buy for or something, or it's a crush, puppy love, I don't know what it is, but I'm telling you, you got to know this, everything has led to this moment. Everything. You blow this gift, it's over. You lose it. It's like you're in the doghouse and you don't even have a doghouse. In our house, like that would be, I'd be on the street if I get the gift wrong. I actually knew a dad who I'm not kidding, this is an actual thing. He would go out Christmas Eve and one-stop shop at Canadian Tire for his entire family. Seriously, Christmas Eve. So he'd be like, yeah. No, he'd be like, sweet jumper cables for little Jimmy. This is awesome, And a discount rake with the action grip for my mother-in-law. Perfect. 108-piece ratchet set for my wife. But look, honey, it's reversible. This is not a good thing. Wow. But back to the Christmas lights. Have you ever heard this question or this joke, right? How many people or how many postal workers or how many pastors or how many whatever it is, we like substituting whatever people group we want to make fun of. Does it take to change a light bulb? Have you heard this one? Right? Yeah. So this is a great joke because everybody gets slammed, right? Everyone at one time has been slammed by this. But I saw this post this last week or 2 weeks ago on Facebook that flipped the question around, and it became my inspiration for this series that we're doing called So Good. It's like gifts for the person who's got everything. Because the real question isn't how many people does it take to change a light bulb. The real question is how many light bulbs does it take to change a person? See, because I don't know if you know this. Growth happens slowly, right? It's incremental. It little by little. And when you're a kid, you're like, I'm not growing at all, until you see Aunt Ethel, and she's like, you've grown, and she grabs you and kisses you, and you're like, not with the mustache. But they're like, right? But that's the price of growing. So we try not to grow, or we hide it when we see Aunt Ethel or whatever, right? But like growth happens really slowly, incrementally. Change happens quickly in our lives. I don't know if you've thought about this, but as a pastor, this is one of the biggest insights that I think I've ever wrestled with. So growth is all the stuff that leads us up to real change. But when real change happens in your life, it usually happens up here. It's a ding, it's an epiphany. It's a realization, suddenly something clicks that hadn't clicked before, and you are different. And it doesn't mean you're entirely different. You got all kinds of things to work out, but change usually happens like bang. So what I want to do this series is I actually want to give you light bulbs. I want to give you the gift of life change, because I'm going to talk about four gifts that Jesus gives us, that only Jesus can give us. And before you're like, oh, that's just so arrogant. I don't know. I'm trying to convince you of the fact that it's not. But I'm going to give you four. Any one of these light bulbs would change your life. If any of these go off in your head and in your heart, I guarantee you, not because of my words, but because of what Jesus can do, any one of these light bulbs go off in you, you will be different forever. If all four of them go off, you will be unrecognizable forever. I guarantee it. Because, again, these are only things that Jesus can do. Now to do this, though, to talk about lights and lights going off and bulbs coming on, I have to talk about darkness first, if that's okay with you. I'm in the light, you're in the dark. It's not because I'm more spiritual, it's because I got all these things shining at me. Just want you to know that. But I'm going to talk about this three-letter word. Not all offensive words are four letters. Three-letter word called sin. And I said this a couple of weeks ago, but again, this is one of those things that I have a hard time as a pastor understanding, that people in our culture are so offended when we talk about sin. It's like, that's such an old-fashioned concept. It's like from the Dark Ages. You still believe in sin, some kind of moral compass? I just think that, what did you do that for? Because you don't believe in sin. You're like, stop it! Why did you do that? Because you don't believe in sin. What are you doing that's not right? Really? Interesting. What if I step on your toe? Not that either. Come on. Right? We have this, all of us, every single one of us, doesn't matter which religion you're from or religion you're not from, we all have, and I said this before, we all have a 10 Commandments. Running list inside, things that you don't want people to do to you, at the very least, right? And I bet you anything, if we compared notes, our top 10 would be pretty similar. I'm guessing you don't want anyone to kill you. I'm guessing you don't want people to steal stuff from you. I'm guessing you don't want people to covet your stuff and always be looking after you and lying and cheating. And I bet you anything, we agree on the top 10. Or at least 8 or 9 out of the top 10. Okay, so all of us have this idea, and just from the illustration I gave you, we have this innate understanding of why we don't want people to do stuff to us. Things that are wrong. People shouldn't do that to each other. The reason is sin hurts. Sin hurts us. And it's painful. We don't want people to kill us because that would hurt. We don't want people to do things that damage us because that hurts. We don't want people to take things from us because it hurts. There's a sense of loss. Something else we know about sin. We also know that sin separates us from each other. Again, regardless of your beliefs. Look, if I tell you a lie, like I tell Michelle a lie, and she knows that I've lied to her, there's a wall there. Right? There's something in between us, and then she doesn't quite trust me anymore. But let's say she doesn't know that I lied. Let's say I get away with it. There's still a wall there because there's now something I've got to hide from her. I've got to cover up. See, sin separates us. It separates us from each other. It separates us from the life that we wish we had, because the more lies you tell, the more damage you do. The more you let out of the box, the more damage you do. People are hurt. They don't trust you. The walls come up. And it also separates us from God. It separates us from God. Sin separates, it hurts, and we all agree that it's bad. So can we just get over the word sin and just go, okay, you got me there. Sin is bad, and I probably shouldn't do it, okay? So here's the thing. The Bible has all kinds of bigger words to describe the word sin. One of them is a word called unrighteousness. And before you kind of roll your eyes and go, oh, that's a big word, just break it down. Unright. Ain't right. It ain't right. It's not right. Something's off. That's the essence of the word unrighteous. Righteous means right. Everything's right in the world. There's peace. There's no separation. There's no pain. We're together. There's nothing in between us, right? Unright means there's separation. There's pain. And we all have the same definition of unright. So this is one of those words. We fall short. We miss the mark. We hurt each other. And every time we do it, we feel guilty, or at least we should feel guilty about what we're doing, even if we say we're not feeling guilty or we're not ashamed of what we do. We know that we're building walls slowly between us and other people, that we're slowly cutting ourselves off from friendships that used to be vital and loving. We're decreasing people's trust in us. We're blowing it. We're causing, damage to people's self-esteem. I've had moments with my children, and I've said this out loud to them. Like I'll just snap at them or something, and I give them a piece of my mind in a way that I shouldn't, and I go, well, that'll come up in counseling, right? Sorry, I'll just give you $50 now, and then you can give it to the counselor later, and hopefully that one session will do it. Like that we do damage to each other. There's this movie I'm going to reference again later in my message called Saving Private Ryan. How many of you seen that movie? Saving Private Ryan, a third of the group. Okay, so let's watch it now, and then you'll understand what I'm going to do. No, it's this World War II movie, right? Tom Hanks stars in this movie, and it's about a soldier named James Ryan, whose 3 brothers have just been killed brutally in combat within the span of about a week. So the U.S. Army goes, we can't let this final kid be killed. His mother shouldn't have to grieve, all 4 of her sons, and so they send this troop off mission to go looking throughout the countryside in occupied territory, trying to find James Ryan to protect him and bring him home safe. Okay, so that's the essence of this movie. And as the soldiers are walking along and mowing other guys, Germans down, and one by one they're getting picked off, one of the soldiers says something so profound. I don't know if it's Tom Hanks, but this is a slide from the movie. But he says, every man I kill makes me feel farther and further from home. And you know what? It's the same thing with every lie I tell makes me feel like I'm further and further from home. Every relationship I destroy, every one that I squish, or every one that I damage in some way, everything I compromise, everything I do makes me feel further and further from home. You know why? Because it's true. It's separating you. And we, can we just give each other permission? Since the beginning, since we started Manifest, I wanted this to be a place where we could admit that we suck, right? Okay, so every one of you is amazing at something. I'm sure of it. But I'm sure every single person in this room sucks at something too. And I don't just mean basketball. I mean something that actually, you might struggle with honesty. You might struggle with lust. You might struggle with cheating or hiding or not expressing your feelings or whatever it is. You damage yourself and you damage the world in some way. And you probably have people in your life that remind you of how badly you suck at what you suck at, right? And so this might be something that haunts you from when you're a little kid. Maybe it was a kid on the school ground, a bully. Maybe it was a teacher. Maybe it was a parent who said you'd never amount to anything. Maybe, I don't know what it is, but we walk through life, every single one of us, we walk through life feeling further and further from home while trying to feel like we're good people. We're trying to achieve a sense like, I'm okay, and we work and work and work trying to prove ourselves to ourselves and to the people around us. It's this constant struggle to prove that I've got what it takes. That I'm skinny enough, that I'm proud, or I'm tall enough, that I'm muscular enough, that I'm a good enough basketball player, volleyball player, hockey player, that I'm a good dad, I'm a good mom, I'm a good kid, I'm a good boyfriend, I'm a good pastor, I'm a good husband, a good wife, whatever it is. We're constantly trying to prove to ourselves and others that we actually measure up, all of us, because we know we struggle. And then when approval comes back, Oh, it's like oxygen. When people say, you know what, you're really good at that, or you're an amazing person, it's like, say that one more time, right? And some of us actually enjoy applause. Some of us cringe at applause, but we want to know, did you enjoy that thing that I made? Did you like what I did? Do you think what I said was smart? Do you think that I'm worth it? Do you want to spend time with me, right? We want to feel approved. The problem is this sense of validation that we're building, this sense of approval that we're trying to construct out of stray bits of affirmation that we're pulling from here and there and everywhere, or that sense of achievement that we have for knocking it out of the park, or getting the promotion, or landing the job, or whatever it is, that is so terribly fragile. It's like a house of cards. So, how many of you know who Ronda Rousey is? Rowdy Ronda Rousey. She's an MMA, mixed martial arts superstar, and at one point in her career, these were her stats. 12-0, 12 wins, 0 losses. 3 of those wins by knockout, 9 by armbar. That means by submission. Make people tap out so that they don't break in half. That's basically the translation. This is one mean chick. And this picture is just so her. She was so on top of her game. She was this rising star. One of the promoters said, this is the most gifted athlete I've ever trained with, one of the most gifted fighters in the world. She was rising. She was doing amazing until she fought Holly Holm. That is the moment her house of cards came crashing down. And she got knocked senseless. She couldn't do soup, after that kick. But once she finally got her brain together and was willing to come in public, because she didn't look like some kind of elephant person, she did an interview where she said this. She said, honestly, my thought in the medical room, I was sitting in the corner and I was like, what am I anymore if I'm not this? Literally sitting there thinking about killing myself. In that exact second, I'm like, I'm nothing. What do I do anymore? No one gives up about me anymore without this. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, oh, how shallow, she's just being real. She's just actually voicing what many of us have struggled with 55 times in our own lives. We've had moments where we lose the job, or we lose, or a husband walks out, or a wife walks out, or the boyfriend dumps us, or we are humiliated in front of our peers at school, and we're rejected, or whatever it is, and we've thought this thought, what am I without this? Without the approval, without the validation of others, without this feeling of achievement that I'm somehow above other people, what am I? Who am I? Right? The problem here, obviously, that she had to wrestle with is that her identity was wrapped up in her sense of achievement. In other words, she had given the power for validation to the people out from the outside of her life looking in. She had given the power of validation for her as a person to her ability to succeed. And the entire thing came crashing down. So out of the rubble of this, she concluded, well, maybe what I can be is the inspiration, the person who rose up from the rubble, and then everyone will cheer for me again. But you're building another house of cards because it's still from the outside, not the inside. I want to introduce you to a different sort of person. This is Buster, the Basset Hound. How many of you ever dog sat for friends? Yeah, we did that for a year with Buster. Literally a year. Not kidding. With Basset Hound. Stinky armpit Basset Hound. He was so bad. He was so stinky. But so of course the kid's like, please, 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 we're gonna keep Daddy. It's like, fine, you're on poop duty. So the kids are on. We have chores, so the kids do the regular garbage thing. And the garbage cans back then were in the back alley, and they would go to the back alley and dump the garbage in the back alley. And then so they would take turns every day going out with poop bags, the blue poop bags, and they pick up the poop from the yard, like 35 bags of poop a day. Like these things are just like they're machines. These basset hounds. Just insane. And so they would go out and like throw the poop in the garbage can. What I didn't realize until a moment, an epiphany, was that they had not been actually throwing them into the garbage can. What they had been doing, because I can't remember which kid it was, is they'd been picking it up, tying it off, sometimes looking at the window to make sure I wasn't looking out and just hucking them over the fence into the alley. Months of this. So I go out, because I don't do the garbage, they do the garbage. I go out one day, I'm like, what the? And it's like this wall of ammonia. Just like, my eyes! It's just like burning. It burns. And so I'm like, so all three kids are like, they come out in rubber boots and with, gloves on and they're like, so I'm holding this bag, this garbage bag, and it's like boom, boom, boom. It's getting fuller and fuller, and they're like, sorry, Dad. And they're like putting the poop in, but then after a while they're getting confident and they're like doing this. And I mean, half the bag just split open. It's like there's running bile. I don't know what it was. It's just like we're sitting there going. And then I think it was Glory, I'm pretty sure it was Glory, about 5 feet away, thought she could make it. And took a bag and went like this, and it went, opened up, and went, like right up my face. And I'm like, just this. And I'm, dear Jesus, I don't believe in murder. So finally, we're like, okay, just finish, fast the job. So they're like throwing some more, of course, is splattering all over me. I'm just covered in this dog crap by the end. I'm thinking, how did this happen to me? I'm the innocent one here. I didn't even want Buster. And then they're the ones supposed to clean up the poop, and here I am. I'm willing to help them. I'm willing to step into the situation. Now I'm full of it, literally full of it. And this is not fair. This is absolutely not fair. They had this idea that they could just take the stuff that their sin, their garbage, and they could just kind of hook it over the fence, and nobody would be the wiser. Like nobody's ever going to go back there. And then at some point, like what did they think? Like years later, the blue would start to go like over the fence. Like I see that, but I don't know. There's like palm trees growing there. But like they thought they could get away with it. They thought they could just hide all their crap by just chucking it over the fence, not realizing it's going to come back to haunt you. Your sin will find you out. It totally will. Your unrightness, your unrighteousness is going to find you out. And then what, right? Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Jesus is a far better dad than I'll ever be. Because you know what? Every single one of us have these bags of crap. And we don't like dealing with them. We like shoving it under the carpet. We like hucking it over the fence. We're like, nobody will ever know. And we're so afraid of showing people that we're full of it and that our poop is not in a group and all of that stuff that we hide it. We hide it because what if someone found out how badly I suck at life? What if they found out I'm not a good father? What if they found out I'm a terrible wife? What if they find out that I'm cheating at work? I'm shaving time off at the end of the day? What if they find out I have a porn addiction? What if they find out? What if they find out? Because we're living on approval. We're living on this them validating us. And if they found out that all of that poop over the side of the fence was there, they would reject us, and then we wouldn't be validated. And so we hide it and we hide it and we hide it. And then Jesus steps into our world and says, you can't hide it from me. I see it. It's why I'm here. Let's go back there. Let's go back there. Except Jesus goes and he stands right in the middle of all of our crap and essentially says, let me have it. Let me have it. I know this is a vivid picture, but you would understand the gravity of what Jesus has done. He's saying, I will take your garbage. I will take your sin. I will take your darkness. Every lie you've ever told, every friendship you've ever botched, the guilt, the shame, the anger, the rage, the lust, all of that disgusting stuff that we throw over the fence and hide from people. He says, you can't hide it from me, but I'm here. Let me have it. And he takes it on himself. Look at this. This is how Paul puts it, one of the early followers of Jesus, who was radically transformed from a Jesus hater, Christian killer. Literally, a light bulb goes off in his heart, in his mind. On a dime, he becomes a Jesus follower. He says this, God made him, that's Jesus, him who knew no sin. The perfect one, the one that doesn't deserve this. How is he even here? Why is he even doing this? He made him who knew no sin to be sin, become sin for us. So take it all upon himself so that in him we might become the righteousness, the rightness of God. So he says, look, you give me your garbage, you give me your sin, you give me your crap, I will exchange it for righteousness. And it's a free gift. You can't earn it. But why would you do that for me? That makes no sense. Because God loves us in a way that humans cannot comprehend. All we can do is we can believe this or not believe it. That's all we can do. You can't earn this. You can't achieve this. This isn't about outward validation. This is about Jesus doing the work and you getting the credit. Where else does that happen? If you can find a better offer, go for it. Seriously, go for it. If you can find a better offer than the God of the universe rolling up his sleeves, standing in the middle of your crap, taking it upon himself so that you can be righteous, be my guest. You're not going to find it. You're not going to find it. Look at this, what happens. Because he took our sin and gives us righteousness, what this means is that we have been justified through our faith. All we got to do is say, Jesus, thank you. I'm trusting that what you did there on that cross is for me and it's enough for me. I'm giving you my failure and I'll take your righteousness. Thank you. It says, by faith, we have been justified. So we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ. You know that sin that's been separating you from God? Gone. Gone. No longer separated. You have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ. Again, what he did. Through whom we have gained access by faith into this grace in which we now stand. He came and stood in our crap so that we could stand on his grace. That's the foundation you're standing on if you put your faith in Jesus. You've been justified. You've been validated. You have been stamped, approved by God. It's totally outside yourself. It's a gift you can't earn. It's something you can't lose because you didn't deserve it anyway. You can't undeserve it because you never deserved it in the first place. So he takes your sin, exchanges it for righteousness, stamps you approved, which means, watch, therefore there is now no condemnation for those of us who are in Christ Jesus. No one can invalidate what God validates. No one. No thing, no demon of hell, Satan himself appears right here. He cannot invalidate me. Do you understand? Todd White says, you didn't give this to me, you can't take it away from me. So as long as I stop looking to you for my approval, I stop looking to you for my validation, and I allow Jesus and what he did for me, that exchange to be my validation, that stamp of approval, you can't invalidate me. Which means I'm free. I'm free from having to trick you into giving it to me. I'm free from trying to have to impress you so that you clap at me, so that you worship me, so that you adore me, so that you, all these things. I'm good. I'm right. God made, I was unright. Now I'm right. And you can't take it away because you didn't give it. This is what God is offering us even today. You know, there's this scene at the end of Saving Private Ryan. Powerful, powerful scene. that I just need to explain to you. I mentioned that these soldiers were trying to find Private Ryan in enemy territory, and one by one they're falling to German bullets and tanks and bayonets. And near the end of the movie, there are 2 left of this entire troop, and plus saving, or 2, including Private Ryan. And Tom Hanks' character, in his dying breaths, in the wake of this incredible carnage, pulls Private Ryan close to him, and he says, "Earn this." See, because all of his men gave their lives so that he could go free, so that he could survive. And now, I can't remember his name. Do you remember his name? Pardon me? James? James Ryan? No, but the Tom Hanks character. Him. He basically gives him the weight of a lifetime. He thinks he's giving him motivation, but what he's just done is damned him. How do you have 15 guys or whatever give their life for you and you earn it? So he spends the rest of his life haunted by the question, have I earned it yet? Have I earned it yet? Am I enough? Am I enough? Am I enough? This scene that I have in behind you that's James Ryan as an old man. He comes to the gravestones of these fallen soldiers who died for him, and he's overcome with grief, racked with torment and guilt and shame, and he buckles under the weight of it. He falls to his knees, and they come running to him. And in this heartbreaking scene, he says to his wife, "Tell me I've lived a good life. Tell me I'm a good man. Tell me I'm a good man." This is the heart cry of every person in this room, and I'm telling you, you can't earn it. If you try to earn it, if you try to succeed your way into it, you will constantly wonder who's going to roundhouse kick you and knock you flat. You're going to wonder, when am I going to blow it? When's it going to implode? And you're going to watch your validation ebb and flow. If you need validation from people around you, you are always up for grabs. Your peace is always up for grabs based on how people respond to you. And you can be haunted the rest of your life. Was it enough? Was it enough? Was it enough? Or in this moment, wherever you are, I don't know what you've gone through or what you think that you haven't, disqualifies you. I'm telling you, Jesus paid the price. It's good for all of us. He who knew no sin became sin so that you could become the righteousness of God. And that if you put your faith in him, you are justified, you are approved, and then there is no condemnation for you ever again. There's nothing that can take it away. And as we learn to live in that faith, we can literally walk through life as people say, call us down, call us names, criticize us, and we think, well, maybe they got a point about the criticism, but I'm still valid. I'm still approved. You can't take it from me. You didn't give it to me. Okay, come on. How many of you want that? You want that? Hands up. If you want that, just put your hands up. Thank you. You understand that when we every week in Manifest we say respond. Tom said it before. Respond, respond, respond. Yes, you can respond in your heart, but if your body follows, all kinds of other stuff follows. So you need to respond, okay? So what I'm telling you is that you, in this moment, can say, Jesus, I've been looking for my validation and my approval from other people or from my own success. And I'm willing to admit in this moment that it's not enough. It never will be enough. So I'm repenting of that false God in my life. I'm turning from that and I'm looking to you because only you can validate me and you've already done it. All I need to do is receive it. Can you get your head around that? If you can, let's pray this prayer together today. Would you pray with me?